What's up with the Raider Nation? It's your boy, Raider Honcho, and I'm back with a brand new video for you.
Remy in my cup, turn me up, what we talking about? Now we doing us, moving up, what we talking about? Raider flags waving off the truck, what they talking about? Raider Nation dominating, only thing to talk about. Black shades, black tee, that's Raider Honcho, baby. East Coast, energy, that's Raider Honcho, baby. Head coach.
Alright guys, get right into it. You already know the vibes. You already know what type of time I'm on. And on today's episode, I have got to address something, okay? I have got to make something abundantly clear. Because I just dropped the video asking, are the Raiders back? And, you know, some of the comments are a little outlandish in my opinion. And I feel like things are being taken out of context. Things are being misunderstood and misconstrued and all of those good things. So I just feel like we have to address some things, okay? We got to get some things clear and get on the same page with this, okay? First and foremost, okay, when I asked, are the Raiders back, it's because I'm hearing that people are predicting the Raiders to have a good record, split in the division, maybe have a opportunity to get into the playoffs, and all those things are great. And I'm not saying they won't do that. What people need to understand is that when I'm on my platform, when I'm on camera, when I'm creating a discussion, I am here just to create a dialogue. So I don't mind any back and forth. I don't mind any comments. I don't feel like I'm above criticism or that I'm always right or any of those things. So I'm happy that people want to comment and interact and have a difference in opinion. I'm cool with all of that. But I don't like when it feels like I am being kind of put on an island or I'm being typecasted as some type of hater or I'm super negative, all these other things. First of all, I do acknowledge that there's a small group, maybe a majority, I don't know, but there are a group of Raider fans that are just interested in hearing exactly what they want to hear. And if you're not saying exactly what they want to hear, they're going to just poo-poo that shit and act like it's not valid and you have no credibility and you have no reason to even be on camera talking about the Raiders if you're not saying exactly the thing that they're looking for or exactly what they want to hear. And I'm cool with that. But just please understand that over here, there's facts over feelings. I don't give a damn how you feel about it. I'm just going to give you my opinion and my perspective of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing and all these other things. That's fine, okay? But I'm deciding now to read some of the comments and instead of going back and forth in the comment section, I'm just going to address it here on camera. So I got a comment from Ronald Morgan 7632. Okay, and everybody, if you're able to follow him, go follow him. I don't have no problems with son. But here's his comment. He said, I only made it about halfway through. Usually I agree with most of your takes, but damn, a whole lot of bad assumptions there. First off, I haven't heard anyone say we're back. Everyone knows the team is rebuilding, generally believe that they're doing it the right way. Second, Cousins wasn't brought in to win a lot of games. The goal is to bring Mendoza along slowly, like Mahomes and others. Cousins is familiar with Kubiak's system. This should allow Mendoza to be brought along slowly. Saying that being a number one pick means that you should start is nonsense. The offensive line has to show that they are on the same page. Do we want Mendoza constantly running for his life? Possibly ending up on an IR? A bridge QB like Cousins is the perfect solution. Also gives Mendoza the opportunity to see how Cousins reads defense and deals with the speed of the game. Now, nothing you said there is incorrect or inaccurate, but I would just please understand that the Mendoza topic is being taken out of context, okay? I thought the Raiders should draft Mendoza. I believe Mendoza is going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. I believe Mendoza is good. The points I was making about Mendoza are in relation to the overall standpoint of where the team is right now. And it's part of an argument or discussion or debate on are the Raiders as good as people think. So when I'm using a Mendoza argument or stance or perspective, it's really just a piece of the argument that I'm making that the Raiders may not be as good as everybody thinks, okay? Because bottom line is, and just like some of your points, if Cousins wasn't brought here to win a lot of games, well, then that would kind of lead to the fact that the Raiders don't expect to win a lot of games if he's just starting quarterback, no? So then that would mean the Raiders may not be as good as some people think, in my opinion. Okay, when you say that Mendoza, it gives him an opportunity to sit behind Cousins and see how Cousins reads defenses and learn the speed of the game. Well, then it is my opinion, based on even what you're saying, that Mendoza may not be ready to play right now. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that a number one pick should be a day one starter. I'm not saying that. I just think there's a difference in a number one talent than a number 25 talent. I just believe that. That's my opinion. Okay, so I'm not saying that if you draft a guy number one, he has to start. I'm not saying that. But I would believe that if I'm drafting a guy number one, he should be better than Kirk Cousins. So only thing I'm saying is this. If you want to think the Raiders have an opportunity to win 10 games and maybe make the playoffs, then I think that the argument that Cousins wasn't brought in to win a lot of games kind of kills that. That means the Raiders don't expect to win a lot of games. If you're saying that, and in this comment, he's saying that you don't want Mendoza running for his life, do you, or end up on the IR? No, motherfucker, I don't. But that's why I think the offensive line may not be that damn good yet, or may not be where it needs to be yet, which means if the offensive line is not where it needs to be yet, and you don't want your quarterback playing because you don't want him to get hurt behind it, that means the running game might struggle a bit. That means the Raiders probably aren't where some of y'all think they are. And please understand that just because you may not have heard anybody say the Raiders are back, motherfucker, maybe I'm not talking to you then, okay? Maybe this wasn't for you, okay? But you can't tell me what I've heard. You can't tell me what I've read. I watch TV. I watch a lot of different things, and a lot of people think the Raiders are going to be pretty damn good because they're going in the right direction. I don't disagree with that. The Raiders are going in the right direction. I do like the steps that they have taken. I do like the moves they've made, okay? But to make the argument that, oh, well, Mendoza was brought in to learn, and just like Patrick Mahomes, well, to be fair, Patrick Mahomes was probably drafted around 10. He wasn't drafted number one, okay? And Patrick Mahomes sat behind a quarterback, true, but he sat behind Alex Smith, who probably was, I think, leading the league in passer rating at the time. So he wasn't sitting behind Kirk motherfucking Cousins, okay? It's a big difference. And I have no problem with him sitting behind Kirk Cousins. I have no problem with them walking Mendoza into a great situation, letting Mendoza learn how to play the NFL game. I have no problem with that. All I'm saying to you is if Mendoza was better than Kirk Cousins, he'd be playing. Period. Maybe he will play. Maybe day one he is a starter. But you can't keep making it seem like what I'm saying is so off base. You don't have to agree with it, but the arguments you're making don't make any sense. If he was better than Kirk Cousins, he would be playing with the ones right now. Whether he's not ready because of the playbook, whether he's not ready because of the speed, whether he's not ready because of the cadence, whether he's not ready from being under center, whatever the case may be, if they felt he was better than Kirk Cousins, he would be taking the first team reps. And maybe eventually he will. I'm just saying right now. So when I use that argument, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that if he's not better than Kirk Cousins right now, and Kirk Cousins is your day one starter, I don't believe the Raiders have enough around Kirk Cousins to go make a playoff push. It could be different once I see them play, but just based on what they are on paper, I just don't think there's enough there with Kirk Cousins at the helm to get to the playoffs. And you can't tell me what I've heard. I've had conversations with people about this. I've seen people talk about this. They're not saying we're guaranteed playoff, but they're saying we should be one of the teams in the mix. And my argument is just that when you look at all these other factors, right? If you look at all these other factors, I just don't know if the Raiders are there yet. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they suck. I picked the Raiders to win 7 games. Some people pick them to win less. Some people pick them to win more. All I'm saying is that if you pick them to win more games, I need you to explain where that optimism is coming from. Okay, our best player is Brock Bowers. We're only going to go as far as Brock Bowers takes us. That's not good. We've seen what this offense looks like. Or maybe not this exact offense. Obviously, we didn't have Clint Kubiak. But we've seen what an offense looks like when the tight end is the focal point, or we only go as far as the tight end goes. Darren Waller was really freaking good, but we can only go as far as Darren Waller took us, and he took us the way he took us. And that was with Derek Carr, who I think is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. So in my opinion, there's just a lot of other things that have to make sense for me just to be like, you know what? The Raiders are in a position to be good. And quite frankly, whether you like it or not, I don't think the Raiders have done enough in my history with them, in my lifetime with them, to give them any type of benefit of the doubt. It doesn't make me any less of a fan than anyone else. All right, now, speaking of fandom, I've been called a fake fan, and people think I'm not a real Raiders fan because of whatever the case may be. Trust me, I am 40 years old. I could have easily picked a different team to root for that would have made my life a whole lot easier, okay? But I didn't pick my team. My team was picked for me, okay? My parents were Raider fans. I was named after Marcus Allen. My grandparents are Raiders fans. We are Raiders fans, and we're from the East Coast, and I do understand that sometimes on the West Coast, The Raiders are in your DNA, okay? The Raiders are part of your lineage, okay? Whether it's Oakland, Las Vegas, regardless, if you on that coast, I understand that being a Raider fan may be a little different in theory, right? Like you guys were raised on it. This shit is in your blood. Like you are a part of it. Like the stitching of Raider Nation, you are a part of because you're out there, and I get that. Me being from the East Coast, I am a huge Raiders fan, but I could understand why it may look like I'm not, because I am not like a put my fandom over my logic or put my fandom over my thought process or my conscience. Like, I just can't do that. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Like, I understand that a Yankees fan from Pennsylvania might be a different type of fan than a Yankees fan from New York. Like, it's just a different type of love that you might have for them being that close to it. I get that. But you can't tell me I'm not a real Raiders fan because I may not think the way you think about the Raiders, period. Like, and to be fair, y'all watch more Raiders games than I probably watch, because coming on the East Coast, we don't see a lot of Raiders games all the time, so I get it. I was probably playing football more outside than I was watching football on TV. That's just a fact. So I can't sit here and just be blind and say, I love the Raiders so much that I would never say anything bad about them. Or I love the Raiders so much that I'm going to look past the flaws that they have just because I want them to be so good. You guys hope they're good. You guys wish they're good. Like, all of those things are great. I want the Raiders to be good too. But I'm not going to sit here and see the things that I see and just neglect that because of my want or need for the Raiders to be good. That doesn't make me any less of a fan, okay? So that's on that point. And shout out to all the West Coast fans. But yeah, I just think that my take on Mendoza is being taken out of context. I don't think Mendoza is somebody who you should rush to put behind center, especially if the line's not right. I think that we don't have the wide receiver room to really compete as a core there. I think our wide receiver room is pretty bad, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Who knows? But I just think the Mendoza thing is, like, I think some of you guys are being a really emotional about Mendoza. You're invested. I get it. I think you guys are being a little sensitive and defensive about people's takes on Mendoza. I think Mendoza's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. All of us could be wrong, right? My stance is that if he was the type of quarterback that like, if it's Matthew Stafford, I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to sit behind Kirk Cousins. I don't. Like, I just don't think that. I don't believe that to be true. I don't think if it was Cam Ward, he would be sitting behind Kirk Cousins. Like, this is just what I think, right? If it's Trevor Lawrence, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to sit behind Kirk Cousins. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't sit behind other quarterbacks, but I just don't think Kirk Cousins, where he is right now in his career, is the type of quarterback that should be playing ahead of a number one draft pick unless he's better at the time, right? Like, Jackson Dart, to me, sat behind Russell Wilson. Yeah, you could say Russell Wilson was better than him, or you could say Jackson Dart was better, but Jackson Dart also wasn't the number one overall pick in the draft, right? So I just think that when it comes to Mendoza, I think you take your time with him, but I think the Raiders taking their time with Mendoza shows that there's no rush in this being an end-all, be-all, or a boom or bust situation for the Raiders, and I think they're building towards the future, and I agree with that. I'm just making the stance on, if the Raiders were really back, and if the Raiders were really in a position to win a lot of games this year, or be a playoff type of team, I don't think Kirk Cousins would be the guy that they're pushing. If you think Mendoza's the guy and you think he's the face of your franchise, you have to play him over Kirk Cousins unless Kirk Cousins is better or Kirk Cousins is more ready. Like, that's just how it goes. So that's what I think, man. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, both at Raider Honcho. Until the next time, as always,